Dina here, littlewidow.com, Littlest Widow on Instagram. We are doing a career reading tonight. I like that better than a should I leave my wife reading. It makes me a little bit happier. So the romantic in me appreciates this a tad more. We are doing this for a friend of mine versus a random internet stranger, and as such, I chose a deck that I love that I think suits her very much. It is one that I had a backup of, and it's the Delos Tarot. If you ever see this deck, as I show you the cards, if they appeal to you at all, you should buy it because it's kind of hard to find. I had this backup, and it was my intention to just never open it, like until mine was just destroyed, because it is kind of hard to find. If you do find it, let me know, because I would actually I'd like another. I'm a hoarder, aren't I? Damn. This is the box. It's the Delos Tarot. They're very kind of like retro. I don't know. They remind me of like a Holly Hobby thing, kind of. And the version of like most tarot decks have like a Joker kind of card that you don't shuffle in, and they're just this like adorable little frumpy, almost gothic little couple. I don't know. They remind me I feel like they should be in like a Tim Burton claymation or something. I love them. So anyway, so this is the deck that we're using tonight. There are fairies on the back, and I have been shuffling it for a while, but it's because it is a new deck and they're a little sticky. I did smudge them already, and I'm just trying to get them broken in here for us. We will be doing another reading either later tonight or tomorrow on another topic, and I do want to do I want to touch on Thanksgiving this week too, and talk about the moon. So you'll be seeing a lot of me if you watch this channel. So tonight though, what we're talking about is, so my friend basically has a job interview tomorrow, and her situation is that she already has a bachelor's degree, but she wanted to be a teacher, and she didn't ever do her student teaching. And when she finally went back to do it recently, they had kind of changed the qualifications. They added new criteria that you had to have to get certified to be a teacher in addition to the student teaching. So she wound up having to go back to school and take a lot of classes, even though she already had her bachelor's. And now she's just doing her student teaching now. So it's been a process. So she's kind of been bartending on the side, and all of a sudden, all of her bartending gigs kind of dried up all at the same time. So she has an interview tomorrow for, a bartending job, and that we're not worried about that. But she has a feeling that they're going to ask her to do something that would actually be a good deal more responsibility, and she doesn't really think she wants it. For some reason, I had an instinct that she should consider it, though. I don't know why. And she kind of said, I'll hear them out, but I don't know. However, she is thinking she would want to work maybe 4 nights a week there anyway. And it's like, well, how much more work would it be to just have more responsibility? So that's kind of what we're wondering tonight. Because I did look at her chart too, and she has some kind of pivotal stuff happening, and it's not happening way off. It's happening now. I mean, Pluto's pretty slow moving, but it's crossing over her midheaven right now. So that seems like either a career change, and if she was totally ready to start teaching right now, I would say, okay, maybe that's what that is, but it's happening now, so. And then Jupiter's actually about to enter her 8th house as well, and 8th house can be, it can be inheritance. It can be, it's other people's money, they say. But sometimes it does correlate with an increase in income because it's opposite the 2nd house. So we kind of want to see if she takes more responsibility on if she takes that position, that's more responsibility. If that would be good for her, if anything pivotal would happen, if it's something she really should consider and she would have been happy having done. It's just nice. It'd be nice to go into the interview knowing, like, if they offer it, we see something there that would be good for her, versus, is it just a lot of work for not a lot of reward? Is it, you know, I mean, is it worth it? All right. So it's going to be our first question. Then we're going to have a quick second question. All right. So, here we go. I'm going to show you again tonight. The Ace of Pentacles. That is, love that. That's a great start. One day I'll learn to keep my space clear before I start putting cards down. Judgment. And I will put a picture of this up on the website. Nine of Swords is crossing. I do think she is probably worried about her career and financial situation right now, so that makes a lot of sense. The Three of Pentacles is the foundation of the matter. Totally see that. Behind us, the Four of Pentacles, there's our guy with his death grip that we love. We get him a lot, don't we? Always in the same position, no less. Ten of Pentacles is above. The Three of Cups is before. It's a nice card. King of Wands. The World. Six of Wands. And our final position, we have the Nine of Cups. That's a really good card for an outcome. Ooh, geez. Oh, damn, girl. I know this is not what you want to hear, but I think this is this is good. Well, good is good, right? So, okay. So essentially, the cards representing her, the Ace of Pentacles, would be really like a new start in the material plane, right? It would be a new start financially or a new start practically. It could just represent a new job too, but I feel like the Ace is a little bit bigger than that in this position, and it's coupled with a King of Wands. This guy has a salamander. There's a Leo lion here, but this correlates with Sagittarius a lot too. It's a card of it's definitely a card of action. So both of these things definitely show a change, and I think it's a positive change in a career standpoint. I can see that, you know, obviously we know that it's a work-related thing. The Three of Pentacles makes sense here. Behind her would kind of be a sort of like standing still, the stagnation that we've talked about in previous readings in the Fours. And I know that it's impossible to do these without being repetitive, but basically the Four of Pentacles is what she's moving away from in this case. And this is kind of material stagnation. This would be a point where, you know, you're not broke, you're just there. You know, it's the same, nothing is changing. Your routine isn't changing, your financial situation isn't changing, nothing's changing. The Three of Cups is in the near future position, so that would be kind of like the immediate change in taking this job. The Three of Cups is a nice card. In this one, the girls are drinking, I mean, it could either be champagne or like little Belgian triples in small glasses, because these cards do have a lot of beer in them for some reason. Maybe this is a Belgian deck. I don't know. Like there's a lot of beer for some reason in this deck. Actually, I think this place really serves a lot of beer, actually, which is kind of interesting. So the Three of Cups is it's a nice card. It's a socializing card. It's just very pleasant. It tends to speak of camaraderie a lot. Nothing, like very little bad in this card, unless like, you know, if you were asking about a love triangle or something. I mean, then I wouldn't necessarily want to see the Three of Cups, because could be, but that we didn't ask that. So it's a very pleasant card, especially for the hospitality industry. And we kind of move up, and we end with a Nine of Cups. So that's the card that we mentioned the other day with that smug gentleman. So the Nine of Cups, though, it's fulfillment. It's like, oh my gosh, I have everything I want. And this card, it's a fancy little cat. And I like him very much, but it's a really positive card for an outcome card. It really does speak of fulfillment, of, it's like some people call this the wish card. So it's kind of like you're getting exactly what you want. And you know, I said when I'm not asking about us, well, if you haven't watched the other ones, you don't know that I do this. But so if you read, I tend to read, if I'm not asking about a very specific time frame, I do tend to read the two outcome cards together a little bit. Like I kind of let them play off of each other and read them in tandem rather than saying this is coming up and then this is the outcome. Like I let them influence each other a little more heavily if I'm not reading on a specific timeline. And we were not, you know, we just said what would happen if they offer her this job with the more responsibility and she takes it. How does that go? The Three of Cups and the Nine of Cups together I see as being super positive. I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm overburdened by this and I'm, you know, what did I do? Not at all. I see this being like really, really positive. And then the crowning card, which which is a tricky card. Some people read the crowning card differently. It's the one that's kind of on the top of the cross. That's the Ten of Pentacles. So like that's energy that kind of circles this whole thing. That's a really positive card in terms of money and career questions. So there is not, with the exception of the Nine of Swords, that's the crossing card, which is like really would just show that maybe she has some anxiety or fear or a mental hang-up happening standing in her way of all these positive things. This is the only negative card in the entire spread by any stretch. And it's just mental. So, I mean, but this is a really positive reading. So I would say that, you know, if they offer this to you, you have to seriously consider it because it looks like it would be, I mean, this looks really stinking positive. Like I would jump on this. So, all right, that's question one. It's really good. All right. I like happy things. See? Yay, this is good. All right, so our next question is going to be a little harder to read, probably. We want to know when she finishes her student teaching and she gets her certification, how long is it going to take to get a teaching job? A card popped out. These are sticky. That's the Four of Wands. That's a nice card. If you want to use the cards for timing, wands are fast, but, you know, like really fast though. But fours aren't, so we're gonna do a proper spread. That popped out. Whenever something pops out, you have to pay attention to it. And then if it shows up again, you really pay attention to it. People read timing different ways. So the traditional way that you read timing correlates to the suits. So you would say that wands would be like days, and pentacles would be years, and swords would be weeks, and cups would be months. Obviously she is not going to get a teaching job in 4 days. If she does, that will blow my mind. But I don't, that's why I don't like to use that kind of timing. I would rather just do a proper spread and look for swiftness or slowness. You know what I mean? Like if I see a lot of pentacles, like I think fours are slow. Fours don't show movement to me. Fours show a place of stability. Like I use the word stagnation a buttload, but I mean, it's because they're really solid. Like fours just kind of sit there. So that's why I want to do an actual spread, and what we want to see is what surrounds her getting a teaching job when she gets out, and like how quickly can we expect that to happen? Are there a lot of things she's going to have to overcome with that? Is it going to be easy, you know, for the most part, or is it going to be like a whole thing? You know, is it going to be a process? Is it going to be difficult? What are we looking at once she's ready to enter, you know, the job market there? Is it going to be a struggle to find something? Is it gonna take a long time? Because that'll influence how serious she is about what happens tomorrow, you know? So when she's ready, is she gonna get something right away, or is it gonna be like a whole process? Oh, the Fool. Love that as the first card. Well, that would represent her going on a whole new career path and a whole new journey. And it's in the environment of the Four of Swords. It's your four. The Four of Swords is notoriously like a timeout card. Eight of Cups, walking away from your old life, I would say there. The Ten of Pentacles is the foundation. So she would be entering this from a pretty solid financial position, I would say. Behind her is the Six of Pentacles. Above her is the Lover. Before her is the World. It's a nice card to have before you. The High Priestess, which is really pretty in this deck. It has the crescent moon on the bottom and some pomegranates all around, which are symbols of fertility and ancient knowledge. The Two of Pentacles. And the Two of Cups. It's a beautiful card. It's a lovey, lovey card. And the outcome is the Knight of Cups. So, I mean, I definitely think she's gonna be able to get a teaching job. This also looks really positive to me. None of these things are swift. Knights are movement. I don't see anything that represents that it's gonna be a real hard struggle here. At all. Like, there's no struggle cards. I definitely see a new start, and I would say the World being in the near, to me, the way I read this with the World in the near future position, I read this as being, you know, kind of like moving, you know, like it's a new start sort of for her, that coupled with the Fool representing her. One thing I did mention the other day too, I do always take into consideration the direction that the card representing the person we're doing the reading for is looking. And the Fool and his little cat are both looking actually towards the card that I generally read in the past position. And that's the Six of Pentacles. So if we did want to take a more traditional approach to timing, I would never say Pentacles are years in this case. I would say maybe more like months. Again, I don't really like that. I don't like equating that to anything. Knights, and the outcome is the Knight of Cups, which is it's a very positive card, and Knights indicate movement. It's not the fastest card though. Like, I think if the Knight of Wands or the Eight of Wands or something like that was in the outcome position, that we would be like, boom, she's getting a job right away. I don't see that, but I also don't see anything that gives us timing. Like, unfortunately, the World is one of the major arcana cards that is not correlated to an astrological sign, really. So we can't even be like, you know, like if it was like if the Lover came up there, I might be like, oh, in the spring, Gemini. So I'm actually going to do a third thing really fast, even though I kind of just didn't want to make this a whole real long thing for you guys again. Hopefully you like watching me talk. If not, this isn't going to go anywhere because I talk a lot, don't I? So instead, what we're going to say is within 6 months of when she finishes and is eligible to get a teaching job, what does that look like? Is there going to be a job prospect within a 6-month time frame? How about we say that? I think that seems very reasonable. I think that might be a good way to see, like, I saw nothing that says she's gonna have trouble at all. I just don't know what average is, you know? And I feel like we're one of those states where there's a lot of teachers and not a lot of jobs. I feel like I hear people say they get stuck in substitute teaching positions a lot, you know, and it takes them a long time to get hired, unless they're chemistry, you know, people. She's a math person, so that might help. But I didn't see anything super swift in there. So let's just say, like, within 6 months, what do the teaching job prospects look like? Can we expect her to have something that she wants that she's gonna like, that's not, you know, that's gonna be a good fit for her in that, you know, career arena within 6 months of being able to teach in the state? Can we expect her to have a job? What does that situation look like? Can we expect that within about 6 months or so? And now this time I am putting a timer on it. And so when I do that, I will look at something super positive and super fast moving in the near future position as being like, you know, sooner than 6 months. Whereas I'll look at something kind of slow in the near future position and something positive in the final position as like right around 6 months, you know? And if they both don't look so hot, then we're gonna say, oh, it might take a little longer than that, you know? Because everything looked really positive in both of these readings. So I think no matter what she does, she's really good prospects right now. I don't think she has anything to worry about, even though I think she is worried. And I think that's why that Knight of Swords showed up. That is the anxiety card. But, so like within 6 months or so of when she's able to teach, can we expect her to get a job? And that probably matters too, right? Like you can't, you probably only hired a certain time of the year, I would think. So that's tricky. I don't know. Shuffles. All right, there we are. I mean, I typically take really positive cards as a yes, you know. I mean, the tarot really doesn't like yes or no questions, and I mean, it's just so hard to not ask yes or no questions, you know. The Eight of Pentacles, so that's a guy like kind of toiling, working away. Queen of Wands. You could have used her presence the other day. The Five of Swords, that does indicate a bit of a struggle. Ace of Cups. Eight of Swords is behind her. That is, that's that prison card we talked about the other day. So that shows like an oppressive situation behind her. We have 2 8s already. The Moon is above. The Fool is before. There's her new start again. I'm thinking this is pretty positive, actually, from that. Page of Pentacles. That also, it's a similar card to an ace. It's a young energy. Nine of Wands. King of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles. Lovely. I'm gonna say within 6 months she will be able to get a teaching job. I don't see any reason why she wouldn't be able to. So while I do think that this job, that this interview that she's going on tomorrow would be a positive thing if she wants the responsibility, a very positive thing based on the Nine of Cups as an outcome. I do also think that she's not gonna have, I mean, if 6 months is an acceptable time frame, I do feel completely that she'll have a job offer, you know, to teach based on this reading within 6 months. The Fool is a new start. It's really positive. You're leaving behind, you know, this kind of like feeling trapped in another thing, you know, like that's all behind you. And the Ace of Pentacles, really, it's a brand new material start. We got that before when we asked about it. It represented her earlier. So these are really good cards, and I think she's in a great position. So good for you. These are really good reading. This is a really good reading for a change. That's nice, right? I was like all these like miserable readings anymore, but this one was happy. We got everything we wanted tonight. So we should do more while the gods are being kind. All right, well that's it for tonight. So hit me up with your questions. The Little Widow at iCloud. If you want to email me, I will do your reading. All right, good night.